Good afternoon and evening, everybody. Welcome to GTSA Pool 1, Round 7 from Watkins Glen in the Slidey GRB cars. I think we're just starting qualifying, so I'm going to quickly share some of the social media channels, share the link, and in the meantime you guys can just watch. Trivs, Ravanti, Donnie, anyone who wants to join me. Donnie's in this race, so you can't. Feel free to jump on, guys. Yeah, JP wasn't too bad. I had a terrible qualifying, so I started, I think, 9th. I think I had the pace to fight for 3rd, 4th, but starting 9th, I got knobbed into this 3rd last corner and then had to fight my way back. And then when I was right behind Uncle Kendall, I forgot coming out the pits that the tyres would be cold, so I spun and lost 20 seconds. So yeah, it didn't end well, but it was fun. Uncle Ken, you enjoy that? Give us your expert opinion there. There's so much lag at the end of that race, Ken, that it said that I came 4th. The 4 cars ahead of me were all going backwards and forwards for the last 5 laps. So I was running like 2-3 seconds a lap slow. I couldn't see where I was going. Otherwise I thought I'd catch you guys having to fuel save so much, and I saved early on. Guys are coming around to complete their first laps. We've got Levi up front. Went a little bit wide there. I don't know if he looks like he just avoided the penalty using all the space. Levi with a 49.0. Aquera didn't get a lap. Ghost Killer 14.50, also not a counted lap. See guys who haven't got penalties on this lap. Okay, so S&P's through with the 53, 50 for Plunkin, 50 for Yasteel, Ghost Killer 50. JP, what's your PSN again? I always forget. So I'm trying to late for you, or I can't. There's a couple guys that were lagging quite early on, but the last 5 laps everyone was jumping around there. I went from doing 51s to 53s and 4s at the end, and I was doing 51s when I was fuel saving. Aquera is doing a good job here chasing Levi, so got that little fast rabbit in front of him. Shouldn't get held up, and it's got him up into 2nd. Kalen Pace right behind Kalen. The night wasn't too bad. This track, the night time's very light compared to some of the others where it's pitch black. I think we should race these cars every week. It was good fun driving them, just not the results. But that's a surprise race for you. I don't know if Trivs, Ravanti are listening. You guys are needed in commentary. Can't leave me here by myself all night. 48.8 Levi. Let's see, Aquera not going faster. 48.8 from Kalen, who's coming through the last 2 corners. He's got Henny right behind him. Hi Josh. Yeah, you had a nice gap and avoided all the trouble there, I think. What happened this afternoon, I was doing 51s and half 50s, and then went, had food, came back, and I couldn't get a 51 until lap 3 of the race. Lap 4, so my qualifying was 53. plus a couple crashes. We've got Pumpkin Patch currently in 5th, Ghost Killer 6th. He's not going to improve on this lap because he's got a penalty, so he'll have one last chance. Fluffy Butt 7th, yeah, still 8th. Time's very close between the mid-pack. That was also something I noticed in Pool 2, is the gaps ahead, it took you forever to close down, even if you're quicker, because the other guys only 2-3 tenths slower, so you battle. Let's see, Supermanny 10th place, OJ 11th, Henny 12th, S&P 13th, and Branavane in 14th currently. I always expect a bit more from Branavane, so I'm sure we'll see him move up. He's got a nice open bit of track to himself at the moment. Where's Stiginator? Is he not in the lobby? Looks like no Stiginator tonight. Levi's happy with his qualifying. He's sitting in the pits. Let's see. Does anyone improve? Quetta currently in 2nd. Kalen comes across. No improvement there. Chris is now up to 3rd. Good lap from him. Yeah, I saw you were in P3 there, and then suddenly just in front of me. And you also pitted quite early there, Ken, lap 9. Was that strategy, or just you wanted to turn your TV brightness up? Here comes Fus. Let's see if he improves from 6. He is using my livery. Nice one, Fus. Goes up into P3. Currently, obviously, Levi's in the pits, so net P4, I think. He's in the British Touring Cars livery I made last night instead of practicing. Chris now P4, which is a net 5. Pumpkin Patch just behind. Okay, so look, where is the next one round? See if he improves. He does not improve. Kalen, he's got 30 seconds. He will just get around. 25 seconds till the start. See if anyone improves here. Almost identical lap time for Kalen, 0.001 behind his previous best. Ghost Killer is behind him with this behind. Rav, I'd like you to come chat prot with me, yes. Come chat. We need the most excited man in Kimberley to come join us in some racing. We have a nice little gathering at the bottom of the pits, and we'll see your final grid order shortly. So it's Levi, Leclerc, OJ, Kalen Pace, Ghost Killer Pace, Chris, Fuss, Pumpkin Patch, Yastiel, Fluffy Butt, Branavane, Supermanny, S&P, and Henny. I'm still not sure where Stignator is tonight. So we're going to get underway here. 21 laps of Watkins Glen. Strategy, I think, is going to be a one-stop for everyone. And away we go. We'll see, but I think everyone's going to be on mediums. The interesting part here, lap 1 is going into the bus stop chicane. I think it's a real chicane of death in these cars. The first two have a nice bit of a gap, but then we've got the pace train with Chris stuck in the middle of it. We've got KLM, Ghost Killer, Chris, then Fist behind. Ghost Killer goes a little bit wide in the background there. You just got to see. He's got Chris on the wide sweeping line, Fist behind. Still having a look up the inside, but it's pretty much one line through there. If you dive bomb, you're just going to get switcherooed on the way out. Henny serving a penalty. S&P must have had an incident somewhere on that lap because he's lost 10 seconds on the pack. We've got Levi, Laqueta, OJ, Kalen on close attendance, the whole field pulling through quite tightly packed together. How good do these cars look? Biggest wings in sim racing. Oh, that could be a time penalty coming out from OJ. He went quite far off the... Rav, I've got a party open, just jump in. We've got some side-by-side action. Chris going up the inside. Oof. And that gets untidy into the side of Ghost Killer. Bit of a misjudged move there from Chris. He wasn't going to overtake Ghost Killer, but the person he was passing, I love the replay on effect on this car when they're recovering. You have that huge smoke trail. So Chris down to P11. He did stay behind Ghost Killer. Obviously mistakes do happen, but he didn't get it stopped in time and overtook the car he was overtaking and nudged the car that he was behind. Drops both of them 5, 6, 7 places. And of course quite a bunch up in the mid pack. Some cars had to avoid and others came right up behind. So we've got a nice battle now. Good evening, Ruan. Left a party and I started another party. Rav, try again. Okay, we've got some fluffy butt side by side with Fist coming into the chicane. And some nice space there. This section you can't really see the gradient when you're riding, but through the corner I got punted on. Lap 1. You guys always need to just try and be a little bit calmer early on. We're going to take a quick look at the order. We have that Levi out front, 49.1, 3.7 seconds ahead already. Laquera's got KLM pace right behind him. Then 2.7 seconds to OJ, who was the front of the, just behind the incident from the previous lap, and he's got that whole pack bunched up behind him, so it's given the front 3 a bit of a gap. You're still all the way up in 5th now. 5th and 6th, yes. Fluffy Butt in 7th. Brunavane, Ghost Killer in 8th and 9th. You can see a nice, it's right on board with Fluffy through the chicane of death here. Ooh, yeah, actually might still be showing offline. And Fluffy did the chicane of death move and clipped the inside curb, which given him a time penalty, but also lost him 1.7 seconds and made a nice bunch behind him. Big drift from Fluffy, so when I made my silly spin, I also had that I went off on that next corner because the game decides your tyres are dirty and you can't turn for half a lap. So Fluffy's just in survival mode at the moment and it's causing all kinds of chaos behind. Not deliberately, but we had Brunavane run wide, we had Superman getting past, pumpkin patches on his tail. Raventy's joined me now that I put my profile online. Rav, good evening, how's it going? Stay Guanchi Racing, whether you like it or not. Even Brunavane, who said he wasn't going to race, it's racing. I see Levi's running with 90 to the rear. I was running with 75 to the rear. I didn't think running that far back would be a great idea. Rav, can you hear me?
Here we go. I hear you now. I hear you now. It just took a while from the connection to travel out of the hole.
Yeah, we got to always wait for that connection coming out there. I see your teammate Kalen, third place currently. He's all over the back. Is Lequera in pace, or is he just associated member?
No, not at all.
Not yet.
I don't know. Honestly.
He backs out
but
there and lets
that
Kalen
penalty,
through.
I see.
So Kalen's free now to chase after Levi, who's already 6 seconds up the road. Let's go look back. There was a little bit of an incident. I'm sure you saw it. Chris into Ghost Killer, which made a break on the field.
I saw that. Yeah, and these things are very, very awkward under braking. As soon as you brake too hard, they start to send the rear end out, and then it's just a matter of trying to catch it again.
Well, I found that the best thing to do is brake in a straight line, lift off, and then coast, and you just with a little bit of throttle input to steady it. But to try and do that while you're racing and getting bumped around was a bit of a different story.
I used focusing on other drivers as well, seeing if you need to measure up a defensive move or an attack move. it's a lot of things going through the mind at the same time.
I wish I must actually show the last 5 laps of my race. I don't know what was happening, but we had the carcass lag. Uncle Ken, I can't try and think who else there was. There was Savvy, there was 2 other cars in front of me. So 4 cars right by the end that I was closing in on, 2 cars behind me. 1 car would fly past me, other 3 were jumping around into the uphill hairpin just before the penalty zone. It was madness. The worst part is it's night time, so all I was seeing were these sparks in every direction. So I went from running 51s to 53s and 4s. I ended up 6 after my mess up and spin. I'm sure the other guys might have made mistakes as well. And Ken was saying he was battling with the darkness, but even with what happened early on, catching up. After I pitted, I was right behind Ken, and Ken was in net 4th place. And I went into the chicane and braked, and I didn't take cold tires into account and spun. Lost 20 seconds on that lap, and at the end I was only 6 seconds behind, but for the last 4 laps I was running 3 seconds a lap slower because of the lag. I was looking forward to a nice battle there. I'm just watching this nice 2nd place battle at the moment. Lequera is holding on nicely to Kalen. Looks like
I'm actually impressed with Lequera's drive at the moment. He's been doing really well.
He's been quick in a lot of lobbies.
One, and then he's yeah, that's the thing. It's like sometimes he just falls out, but then he shows up and he's just ridiculously fast again.
Yeah, but I think it's just combo related. Maybe not everyone wants to run GR3, GR4 every time. We're watching Fist making a move here on OJ.
Is in his mint.
I know I really suck at it on GT7. Nice move by Fist into the hairpin there. But on GT Sport, the road cars, I used to get a lot more daily wins on those than I did in GR3, for example. 4 I was alright, but 3 I never did too many wins, and road cars I got a ton, even if I didn't like them.
Is Lequera on controller? I'm not sure.
I'm also not maybe...
I don't know much about him.
I'm just trying to think if any of the steward guys or guys that have the entry list. No, I'm not going to go look it up now on my computer, but if he is, we can find out for you. Just post in the comments there. So yeah, we've got a couple groups happening now. Guys that had that incident are all grouped together. We've got Pumpkin Patch with Supermanny, Fluffy Butt, Brunnervane, Henny, S&P, Chris just off the back. How was your race, Rav? We chatted about mine.
Yeah, well, pool 5, so unfortunately with last week's disconnect I couldn't move up and down instead.
So
did you
bully the guys there?
I battled against well, maybe
was Sam
mentally, because I started, Sam was there, and Kev or Steve, also another fast runner, and Kale from Pace as well.
Okay.
That also done incredibly well.
So
the
it 4 of you were bullying
the
pool 5 guys.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I did decide just by my traditions to start last and see where I could come through. And he managed to just finish ahead of Cal to take third place, like because he had a 0.5 second penalty on the last lap.
Us. So the four of you are going up to 4 next week.
Yes, yes. Unless there are some major issues, which I don't really see. I don't see 30-second penalties handing out to any of us.
Yeah, well, we can make
But
them
yeah,
happen.
no, like some of the pool five, some of the pool five guys had some really good battles also. Like driving behind them and watching it unfold. So we know, like seeing it like from from my perspective, it's like there are battles in every pool. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah,
There are guys racing close together, and it's all over fun. Which I like the balance between it.
definitely. Just watching you going through the pack, we've got a couple of trains, but here we have Pumpkin Patch and Fiss looking at each other with Brunnervane right behind, and this is a dangerous place to try run side by side because you have to lift.
Yes,
So
it can be
Brunnervane's
dangerous.
we're going to get 3 abreast here going into the chicane shortly, I think.
Oh my word!
And someone
That
else
is
is slowing in
close.
front. Who's that? Fiss in front. No, Manny in front.
Super many.
So Manny must have
Yeah,
had a bad
he's been
exit.
also really off his game recently because he
Yeah.
hasn't been having much time at all for practice.
There's 1 second penalty for
Fortunately, no.
Fiss.
Looks like yeah.
Oh, we saw
And
Manny.
those curves are treacherous.
We see Manny struggling still, possibly with a bit of dirty tyres from whatever happened going into the chicane. He shouldn't fight too hard with Fiss here, since Fiss has a penalty he's about to serve. And then we're going to have the 2 guys behind battling him. So I mean, this is 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th place, and they're still battling like it's for a win. Yeah, that's what you love about the pool one
that's
guys.
That's what I like about the pool one guys. There we go.
We've got S&P, Chris and Henny in a little train there, 12th, 13th, 14th.
And I see Leclerc still giving Kalen a run there.
Us was looking just now, he's sitting in the slipstream, flying along. We're already almost at half, 1/3 of the way to lap 7 completed. What was your strategy? Just a 10-11 or... Oh, sorry, Uncle
11-10.
Yeah, I did 10-11 because I was pushing a bit hard and not thinking about fuel saving at the start after getting nudged off. And then...
I'm just going to mute for I'll be right back.
No problem. I saw we had some guys like Ken who did a 9-12, 1 or 2 other late pitters, but yeah, Kalen's doing a good job slowly building a gap on Lequera, who's got a penalty now of a half a second, so that's going to drop him off. Yeah, Steele has got to the front of the chasing pack. He's got OJ and Ghost Killer behind him, so that's 4th, 5th and 6th. They're all fairly close together. Then Fluffy Butt looks like he's got some decent pace at the moment. He's catching in 7th. Then we have the battle with Supermanny, Pumpkin Patch and Brunnervane. Fiss was with them, but he is... What did he do? He did a 54 and a 54 on the last 2 laps, so he's dropped right off. Then we have Chris and his S&P and Henny. Those 3 still battling together. Enjoy Henny's WRC from a good few years ago, or was either WRC or the Le Mans car livery, the Peugeot stripes looking good there.
Speaking about Le Mans, you're probably going to hear some voices in the background, so I'm probably going to mute so as we go along.
No, don't. We only notice when you mute. If you're talking in the background, it's fine. My dog's also talking in the background here. So yeah, while you disappeared there for a second, Lequera served a penalty, so the gap's gone up between him and Kalen. Kalen's keeping the gap about the same to Levi now. I'm just looking. Kalen's slightly better tyres, but the tyre wear isn't really an issue here tonight. In a big slide from Kalen into the first turn. He was, let's see, it's cost him about a second, and it sort of cost you all the way up the hill here. So he's going to have Lequera.
Yeah, the exit of this first corner is so imperative. And then if it gives Lequera the slipstream also. Yeah. Sorry, we're just like speaking over each other all the time. But yeah, the slipstream I think is at 0.75, and with the way you take that S bend out, that uphill S corners, if you manage to get a more inside line going into the left hand uphill part of the corner, that's where you can get big boost of momentum. I've seen that with a lot of the drivers, and that was where my advantage was with Kale, is getting through that first set of course, is where you can gain up to a second and a half even as you go up. Well, second and a half is pushing it, but you can gain up to at least a second, especially if you're in the slipstream.
I was comparing Kalen and Levi's fuel there. It's virtually identical. Kalen's managed to pull a bit more of a gap now in Liquera. OJ 4.3 behind. He's got had Ghost Killer behind, but he serves a penalty, so yeah, still goes through. Ghost Killer's got Fluffy Butt on his outside. Doesn't quite make it through here. They're leaving each other space. There's a bit of lag there. You can see jumping forward and backwards, but they make it through safely. Yeah, I'm having post-traumatic stress from the last 5 laps of my race. It literally looked like one of the maybe Call of Duty with tracer rounds. It was just silver flying everywhere in the darkness. Let's go back a bit. Manny's in 8th place with Brunavane. Pumpkin Patch is just dropping off slightly from them. It's got quite a safe 10th at the moment, and 7 seconds ahead of Chris. We're actually missing Chris's fan club tonight. Chris's fan club, if you're watching, say how's it. Chris has got a bit of a gasp on S&P. It's come down to 2.6 though. He's got Fizz and Henny behind. So it's not all over yet for the relegation spots. The last 3 here would be 4, but we're missing 1 driver. The last 3 drop back to pool 2 next week, or shall I call it pool 1.5? And then
it really is a pool 1.5 at this point, eh?
even pool 3 is like pool 2.1. There's some seriously quick guys in there. And then, like you say, you, Sam, other guys all the way down in pool 5. So you guys must stop missing races and dropping down into the pools with us plebs. There we got Mark supporting Chris from the UK.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah,
that was
the hammer.
Kendall's asking where his flasher is. I don't think it was Mark from the UK. I think it was his. Turns out I thought it was his girlfriend. It's his buddy's wife, I think he said. So Levi's 13 seconds in the lead, still doing mid-high 150s. Kalen did a 52 last time around with that big slide, but he's been in the 50s. Aquaria's right behind him after Kalen's slide. He's got a little bit less petrol though, so electronic petrol, that flashing red e-petrol that we have, also gone up to 28 Rand a litre. OJ is still 4.2, he's keeping the gap, but obviously he doesn't have a slipstream to pull him along. The guys go through for 1 more lap. OJ 1.1 ahead of Steel, who is 1 second ahead of Ghost Killer. Fluffy's into the pits, it looked like. Yeah, Fluffy's doing the early pit stop. And that pit entry is definitely a tricky one. I see Fluffy running a Senna livery, quite lacquer. Didn't see it in the dark. I saw it was yellow earlier, but I didn't see what it was. He's also got Brunavane in the pits. Quite nice if you've been stuck in traffic, get out, get a fast lap in before the other guys come in, hopefully undercut them.
Yeah, and also what I've seen is that the guys are fueling up all the way to 100, regardless of putting in lap 10 or 11. Just to push that extra bit, like myself as well. I filled up to 100. I didn't push it as much as I wanted to, but that extra fuel gave me a little bit of an edge that I think I needed to get that 3rd place, honestly.
Yeah, good stuff. Like I said, I was messed mine up, so I had to stretch 11 on the last two. I don't know how Ken did 12, but that's probably why I made up most of that 20 seconds back. Andrew in the chat, nice to see you there. Welcome. And +3 for Fizz there. That's not going to help him in his battle. So Levi's on his 11th lap. He's going to have to come in looking at his fuel. Same with Kalen.
Yeah, that burnt entry is deadly also, eh? Just noticing that 3-second penalty. It's just coming through for us now. It's a bit of a delay. But yeah, but got a couple of us, even in pool 5. I saw a couple of 3-second penalties as well.
Henry says that Chris's flasher is back next week. She had a knee operation, so I hope she heals up quickly so Chris can get his fans back.
All the best for the recovery.
We have the top 3 in. Liquero is on 0 fuel, Kalen on 2, OJ comes in on 10, Steel 1, Ghost Killer 4. My fuel saving, I was trying to short shift, but I'm terrible at fuel saving. So once I came out the S bend onto the straight and it was 240 already, I put it into fuel map 6 because it didn't go higher than 245 anyway. I was doing 242, 244. So I did,
you can get up to 250, 251
with the
at
slipstream
most there, but then yeah.
Well, Kalen has a bit
Yeah,
of a slide on pit
suppose
exit.
248 is my little nephew, yeah. Making noise.
No problem. Kalen and Aquarius has come pretty similar, about half a second bigger gap, but that was because of that 0.2% fuel. OJ's won a little bit there. He was 10% fuel, so he's only 2.5 behind now. Saved him almost 2 seconds. He's dropped just still, who has Ghost Killer right behind him. Fluffy but who pitted last lap has a half-second penalty, but he is coming flying, and we have Ghost Killer and you're still battling into the hip and side by side, which is never fun. I get extremely nervous. They have a little, don't know if they touched there, but yeah, Ghost Killer gets himself a half-second penalty, so all that hard work, and Yas will probably come back past him. It's Spa, of course it's going to rain. In chat. Oh, and Fluffy, I think, just did what I did, except a different corner. Got it sideways in there a bit and went the other way, trying to avoid some of the traffic there. Didn't lose too much time though. So.
Oh, unfortunately. Yeah, and then the damage as well. We just see it sort of happen as well.
Yeah.
Gets a penalty. That's a dreadful one, honestly.
Damage, I don't think it made too much difference in practice.
Not a major difference.
Especially
yeah.
it only lasts for 1 or 2 sectors compared to heavy damage races. What is the issue is for the next half a lap, his tyres are going to be dirty. So
yes.
Let's drop Fluffy back to 10th. He's 6 seconds ahead of Chris. I heard some tyre screeching, so I'm just going further forward. I think it was just someone getting a big slide on. So we'll quickly have a shout out. Our sponsors, TGN Racing Simulators and Track Art, always looking after us. Big shout out to you guys. Go check out the TGN Race Room, Cape Town, Joburg. If you want to rent rigs, they do that as well for your events. Great corporate thing. You put them down there at your party and the guests will go mad. So call Vanna at TGN. And then we have Right Recruitment down in the KZN. If you want to get hold of them. There's also Parabora, Ford and Cherry, and then we had Mayfair Gearbox, and last but not least Rhino Utilities for all your solar and electrical needs in Sanin. I'm sure you can get some advice and stuff from them wherever you are. So shout out to sponsors, and we're still having a nice battle here for second. What do you think, Rav?
Sorry, but we were also discussing the race things here in the groups. I'm surprised that Laquera is keeping Kalen so modest here.
Well, I don't know if he's
staying in that slipstream. But yeah, these cars are difficult to handle, and I think it's definitely not Kalen's forte. He said he's just not keen on this race at all. But I mean, that doesn't really make much of a difference to his pace. He's still fast.
Yeah.
But Laquera making
the
gap on Oj with him as well.
Yeah, Laquera almost 7 tenths quicker than his previous best lap this time around. So he's doing a good job on those fresh tyres. Let's see, Levi went through with a 49.2. Kalen's also ahead, so he must be doing a good lap for him. 49.6, 49.4 for Laquera. OJ last time around 50.5. He's got a bit of no man's land. 4 seconds ahead, 4 seconds behind. Ghost Killer is ahead of Yasteel now, even with the penalty by a second. Brunnervane after his early.
Oh, the flames going into that first corner.
The flames are pretty cool as well in this car. The turbo blowback or whatever.
Yeah, and now finally, once again, I can just save the replay. I want to start taking screenshots again, photos again.
I'm just looking for some battles. Punk and Patch and Manny fighting over 8th and 9th. Fluffy Butt closing in on them, 51 last time around. Chris is 5 seconds back.
What I find crazy, like the battle between the 3 pace guys, the 2 now, Yeah, Steel and Ghost Killer as well as Kilara. The three of them, I swear, they've been battling this entire 14 laps so far. It's incredible to see like the gaps can be so close without moves being made. I feel like these cars don't really give much opportunity for overtakes. Just in general, compared to like your Group 3s, Group 4s.
Well, I'd say more because you get a little slide on and it gives you a run. Group 4 especially, they're so evenly matched, unless someone makes a big mistake, you don't really get a run at them. That's what happened last week. You push as hard as you want, but everyone's in a train, so if you make a small mistake, there's a huge gap and they just slipstream away. This here, you can make up time and catch back up if you've got the pace, because like when Kalen, he was 2.5 seconds ahead of Lequera just now. One little mistake and he's back on him, hanging in there. 49.8 last time.
Also just the comfort of the drive as well.
You guys have been spoiled with all these high downforce cars. But what is Spa's GR3, so we can have flat out through El Rouge and Radeon. It won't be like this S-Bend where you actually might have to lift slightly. You're still 6 gaps closing. Brunavain's got it down to 1 second. He's bringing Pumpkin Patch with Super Manny. They're still battling each other. Manny pulls in behind.
Sorry, quick exit and entry back again.
No problem. Fluffy's in 10th. Chris is within 3.7 of him.
Yeah, I think like Fluffy tends to make more mistakes like what I've seen. Not often. I mean, he's always been fast, but the mistakes seem to happen like when he's like under real pressure.
I don't know. I think this car's a bit violent in that when he caught up to that group and what I noticed with this car is when you're battling, we can see the couple cars side by side ahead. You have Pumpkin Patch and Brunavain. When you're off your normal line, if you brake slightly early or slightly late trying to compensate, it bites, and that's when you lose
and that's the thing, like,
because you can see
if
now
you want
most
to go
of
for
them,
like aggressive moves,
most of them have that one lap
pace
pace
around
now.
out the second last corner.
But when the guys are all in a train and you have to try to do something, that like here we've got Pumpkin Patch looking now up the inside of Brunavain. He's going to have to either leave the brake off, but then that's going to cost him because he'll have a poor exit. So what does he do? He backs out, pulls in behind. So good idea, try get the slipstream and take the place when Brunavain serves his penalty, but he's also under pressure from Manny.
Yeah, that as well, and now they have the advantage of the slipstream going up into the straight. And then, to make a move on the bus stop chicane, I actually managed to pull off one attacking move on the bus stop and one defensive move on the bus stop. I've been defended on the bus stop where I couldn't make my second attack work.
I made one or two.
It's dangerous going into. It's nail biting.
I made 1 or 2 into turn 1, but that was the old dummy move. You look like you're going to go up and scare the guy, so he leaves his braking late and goes deep, and then you just drive past him on the way out the corner. Seems to have spread up a bit at the back.
Psychological play to it.
Fuss isn't having a good time since the pit stops. He's down in 14th, dropped behind Henny and S&P. Chris is now out of the drop zone in 11th, 14 seconds ahead of S&P, so he's managed to escape there, doing 150s last few times. You can see S&P did a 58, 50. I think Fuss is having a bad lap this lap, but I think maybe something happened between him and S&P at some stage because they both dropped way off. They were running with Chris, and they're 14 seconds behind now. Fluffy Butts joining back onto the back of the Manny, Brunavain and Pumpkin Patch train. Here we see them going into the last corner. So Brunavain with his penalties dropped behind those two. Manny's defending, coming up towards turn 1. Let's see what Brunavain does. Does he throw it up the inside? We only have 4 or 5 laps left now. Pumpkin Patch got a 1 second gap while these two are battling, so nice little bit of breathing room for him. Let's ride with Branavane quickly into the hairpin.
Superman and Branavane, yeah.
What you can also notice on the screen at the moment, I found quite funny, is with these huge rally lights, when you're right behind the other car, you can't see that shadow in front if you look at Superman's car.
Yeah, no, the shadows, I don't know, it's a weird thing that GT does. I feel like there shouldn't be such a big shadow because of the lights of the car in front, but the game doesn't render that properly.
Oh,
so
Branavane, after getting the place, has a huge slide.
Yeah, and I think that's just simply, and look at that, Fluffy is now back after that slide.
Nice racing there between the two of them. Branavane goes back. Fluffy's got a run, but he's on the outside. It means Branavane goes wide and Fluffy goes up the inside, and about 3 switcheroos there on back to back. This is all let Chris catch right back up onto them now.
That slide from Branavane, that was more like to try and turn that defense into a more of an attacking move, which forced him to brake a bit later, and then he braked a bit harder, sending the car into a slide. That can happen at every freaking corner with this car, so it's a bit of a, it can put you into shambles if you're under pressure, and you just overthink for that 10th of a second.
We've got Henny and Fis close together. Henny's got a penalty. Fis has caught back up to him. I'm going to go back to the front just to see Levi's 20 seconds ahead. Kalen has still got, Lequera's got past Kalen. Not sure. Kalen had a 51.5 2 laps ago, so I think we missed that. He might have had a half-second penalty, more than likely what happened, to drop a second. And
it's going to be an interesting battle for second place here, eh?
Yeah, he's right behind. Kalen's got slightly better tyres, but now he's the one chasing. OJ dropped to 6 seconds back, but he's gained an extra second on Ghost Killer. Yeah, Steele's got a half-second penalty. He is only 2 seconds ahead of the Pumpkin Patch Manny battle, so that's going to drop him back right with that whole group. Just as Pumpkin Patch was getting away, he opened a second on Manny. Manny's got 2 seconds on Branavane, but now they're going to join Steele in the next battle.
So this race is just moving up and down. It's a battle for 7, then it's a battle for 6, then it's a battle for 8, battle for 10, battle for 6. And now the battle for 6 is beginning again. Although a little bit of gap between each of them, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then there's the battle again for 9th place, I think, with Fluffy, Gilara, and one other. I keep messing up. Like
Manny went a bit wide there.
So many position changes.
Looks like he didn't get a penalty. Gilara's back ahead of Fluffy, but Chris is now with him. That's who you're thinking of.
There we go, Chris. There we go. He's bringing it back. The Chris Parade. He's bringing it back very nicely. Very nice drive for him to catch up as well, making the full advantage of the rest of the drivers' mistakes.
Yeah.
Does it, Donovan? Ocon gets a 10-second penalty for that move.
Yeah. I think if it's reported, we might have a 10-second for Chris for that turn 1 move on Ghost Killer, but mistakes do happen. I think I might even report.
Yeah, and
Martin.
Actually, like thinking about that, it was actually like now that when we think about it again, I saw it happen, but then realizing Ghost Killer has brought himself back again.
Yeah.
So a fantastic drive back from him as well.
Fluffy Butt's running 20-80 we saw big diver game by Chris, but this time it ended with him parking on the side here. We get to see the big smoke again. I can hear the side effect on your TV there.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know if Fluffy was a bit wide there, but Chris went for the gap, but unfortunately side-on-side contact, and these beasts of a car decided to turn left on a straight as they came out. So we go through the pack.
Yeah, so that's an unfortunate series again of braking late to try and go for the move, but then this car slides out, forcing Fluffy wide, and yeah, just spinning Chris all the way out there. I don't know, like I'm looking at the brakes of all these cars, and it seems like the front tires heat up much more. I'm sure most of these guys are running rear brake bias, but it seems like these rally cars are very front bias based.
The trick was supposedly put the brake bias all the way to the front, and it actually turned. At least that's what I found. I was running on 5 to the front, and also stopped it sliding at the back.
Gosh.
Trivs, I told him, but he obviously didn't tell you the rest of the pace guys, so you must shout at your teammate for not passing that one on. Something happened to Kalen, because Kalen's dropped to 4th now.
Oh gosh,
he did a 58 last time around, so Lequera's got a nice 3-second lead on. He did a 54 as well, so I don't know if, unfortunately, we can't see every car. Trying to find the battles, but there was a second gap or half a second gap, and they weren't really battling, so maybe someone slid wide and the other one crashed. But Kalen's dropped down a place. He's right behind OJ though, and he's still got a lap and a half. Levi's coming around to start his last lap. We haven't really chatted much about him, but he said with the Red Bull Junior, it was one of his top 3 favorite cars because he likes the high downforce. Well, it seems like he likes drifty cars more because he's even further ahead in this race.
Yeah, he's just been dominating the series for the most part so far. But yeah, I've seen like a lot of his streams. He just knows the deal with, especially with this car. I've seen him the early stages of practicing, getting a bit of a fumble on the bus stop, but then the next time I checked again, he was just like flying through it. So he's very, very quick to adapt.
Very quick, and if you spend a lot of time driving, it's not really a question of having to adapt too much to the car. It's you so in the zone with the game, you just jump on. Okay, where do I brake? Okay, here's the braking point. It's 50 meters later than a GR4, but it's a little bit faster. So you just find your markers. You're used to the physics, and you feel the car. So he's just disappeared into the distance.
Yeah, sort of second nature.
Yeah.
Sort of second nature. So I see Kendall there saying, what is torque distribution? That is essentially just putting the power, or at least the torque, more towards the, at least it will be, I think the most you can do is 50-50, and the least you can do is like 5-95, making it a complete rear-wheel drive car. But that doesn't work here. Usually it would, but not with the rally cars.
Well, here we got Levi running 10-90, so Fluffy was running 80-20. I was doing 70-30.
Yeah, I also found the 80-20 to be the most decent.
On the last lap here, can Kalen get back on the podium? Looks like OJ is very low on fuel as well. So I
think this should take them to the end.
So Levi wins it by 27 seconds. Aquera should have his first podium in the bag. We don't want to jinx him. We've got a couple corners to go still. Kalen's got a penalty, so that's his podium down in the tubes. We'll have to hear from them later what happened on that 19th lap.
Yeah, it makes such a difference, Omken. That was one of the settings that made a difference in tire usage and slip and everything.
Yeah, Steele holds on from Pumpkin Patch and Manny. Great battle there between the guys, 6th, 7th and 8th. Brunavane holds on, looks like, from Fluffy Butt, who has a second penalty. Does he hold off Chris? Chris is 1.1, 0.8. Oh, Chris snatches it, I think. Because of the penalty. Fluffy was slow exit. It was 9 point something over the line there.
Wow,
that's he finished
ahead,
but,
10th.
Yeah, he finished ahead, but he lost it by like a couple of hundredths. But that's fine. That's P10 and 11.
Yeah, and that was also very, very close for Fluffy also. So to stay in pool 1 as well.
Yeah, well, he's 15 seconds ahead of Manny, the S&P. And then Fiss
okay, I know that's safe.
Fiss and Henny were the guys that were at the back. So shout out to all these guys. It was great racing there. Well done. My driver of the day would be, we have to give Levi for domination, but also Mr. Lequera.
Definitely,
P2, that,
Aguero should be
it's
up there.
like Lando said the other day.
Depending on also what the move was.
Yeah, Lando the other day said coming second behind Max is like a win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, shout out to all the guys. Thanks for joining me. We are off next week. It's the bye, and then the week after we back with round 8. So shout out to everyone who watched. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Rav. Your driver of the day. Sorry, I didn't give you.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, I say Laquera as well, but also I think Pumpkin Patch also pulled through. Last minute, as always, as he does. It's almost like a tradition for him to start off relatively towards the back, and then just you find him like, okay, what's he doing in 8th place? Somehow he just makes a charge forward. So Pumpkin Patch, Laquera definitely, but Levi is just he's been dominating the series. So I mean he'll always be a typical driver of the day. He's our Max Verstappen of GTSA this season so far.
Yeah, or maybe if any of the other Max Verstappens are watching, we know there are a few there. They mustn't feel shy to come and race a small league or whatever. GT World Series is over in a couple of weeks, so feel free to come join.
Yeah, and also don't feel hesitant to join GTSA as well. I mean, for the most part, the guys are just racing for the fun of it. It's pretty balanced. Everywhere you go, every pool is relatively balanced.
Yeah, I just realised that Stignator was in pool 2 tonight, so shout out to him. I don't know who didn't pitch then, but yeah.
Oh, I hope people save the replay.
No, Donna said the fast guys, not you. Pulling your leg back. Yeah, pull back in. Be great to have you. With that, everyone, good night. Have a great week. Chat to you in 2 weeks' time.
Cheers, everybody. 2 weeks' time. Keep practicing.
It's going to be wet.